Boston, being the college town that it is, was very receptive to this type of music. It was youthful, it was energetic. Kids were developing and learning, and there was a built-in audience for these bands. So when the Damned would come to town, people had heard of the Damned because they read the newspapers from England, whether it was the NME or Melody Maker. There was an awareness, and they also heard this on my radio show, so they would show up for the Damned. The Police played The Rat. And there was a time when it's hard to believe that the Police and Sting, there was a time when this music irritated the vast majority of rock listeners. I recall the first time I played Roxanne on the radio. People freaked out. Who is this guy? He can't sing. This is pseudo-reggae. And he's singing about a prostitute. When we played the Ramones beat on the brat with a baseball bat, oh my God, this just was not heard in rock. I know it sounds ridiculous now, but because the Ramones are played in football stadiums. Hey ho, let's go, and people chant along to them. And the same thing with the Clash. When the Clash first came to town, they were playing Harvard Square Theater, and I was supposed to do an interview with the Clash. The owner of WBCN had sold it to a company out of New York called Infinity Broadcasting. The owners of that didn't want to pay the salaries because we had a very, very strong union, so they fired half our staff. They underestimated us, and we went on strike. So the Clash couldn't come up to the radio station because there was no radio station except Scabs on the Air. And at the Harvard Square Theater, Strummer dedicated a song to me, and have success in the strike, and we stand united with you. And then we won the strike 3 weeks later. Clash came back then in October, and they played the Orpheum. And that's when the Clash finally got to do the radio interview with me. They came up, I was on at 10 to 2 at night. They showed up very drunk and proceeded to get drunker and drunker. They were guest DJs. I had flaming pink hair, so Mick Jones was calling me, "Oh, Pinkhead," and they were singing Okie from Muskogee and taking calls from listeners, and one listener calls up and said, "You guys are okay. You're almost as good as Elvis Costello." Well, the vulgarities that just came forth on the radio was really hilarious. I mean, you could never get away with saying any of this on the radio now. They were just swearing at the listeners, and they finished by playing YMCA. They had a massive sing-along to YMCA, and then during the break of YMCA, they're going, Mick Jones comes on and goes, "Call the TV station. Tell them you want to see the Clash on Saturday Night Live." And so they walked out of the studio singing YMCA. It was really, really joyous.